You're about to cross a line you might not even see. That part you just installed, that tweak you think is harmless, could be what strips you of your license, empties your bank account, or lands you in a cell. This isn't speculation. It's the hard reality of modern traffic enforcement, where officers are trained like detectives to spot illegal modifications, and federal agencies treat your driveway like a crime scene. Today, we're going deep into the modifications that authorities treat not as simple infractions, but as criminal acts. We're talking felonies, federal investigations, and a world of hurt that starts with a simple traffic stop. Let's get straight into the first and most legally treacherous category. Item 15. Engine Control Unit, ECU. Tuning for emissions defeat. The digital felony. The promise is irresistible. More power, better throttle response, and unleashed performance, all from a simple software upload. Tuners and performance shops market it as unlocking your car's true potential. What they're often selling, however, is a federal crime in a USB drive. Here's the technical breakdown your tuner won't give you. Modern engine control units are marvels of compromise. They manage a complex dance between performance, fuel economy, and, most critically for regulators, emissions. Systems like the exhaust gas recirculation, EGR, gasoline particulate filters, GPF, and the precise operation of the catalytic converter are all carefully calibrated to meet Clean Air Act standards. A performance tune, especially an off-the-shelf or custom file aimed at maximum power, almost always disables, bypasses, or drastically alters the function of these systems. It tells the computer to ignore a misfire code that could harm the catalyst, to inject more fuel than emissions limits allow, or to shut off the EGR entirely. The legal hammer is not theoretical. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, has a dedicated enforcement division for this exact crime. From 2020 to 2023 alone, they finalized 172 civil cases against individuals, tuners, and parts manufacturers for tampering with emissions controls, resulting in over $55.5 million in penalties. But the civil fines are just the start. In the same period, there were 17 criminal cases that resulted in actual jail time for defendants. The enforcement strategy is now high-tech and pervasive. Manufacturers are complicit in the crackdown, but on the government's side. Many new ECUs have tamper-evident seals or digital fingerprints. When your car goes in for warranty service or even a state inspection in some areas, the dealer's diagnostic tool can perform a checksum or calibration verification. If it detects a non-factory software file, it flags the Vehicle Identification Number, VIN, in a global database. The EPA has moved from just prosecuting shops to sending notices of violation directly to vehicle owners based on VINs obtained from tuner companies' sales records. They are building a registry. The financial domino effect is brutal. Get into an accident, the insurance adjuster will hook up a scanner. A modified ECU file is grounds for immediate claim denial for material misrepresentation. You materially changed the risk profile of the vehicle without disclosure. Your totaled car and your medical bills? Now your personal responsibility. Total loss. And let's talk about the for off-road use only defense. It's almost worthless. Prosecutors will ask a simple question. Where is the off-road facility where you use this daily driven vehicle? Your social media posts showing the car on public streets will be Exhibit A. This mod isn't a traffic ticket. It's a white-collar environmental crime that you're driving around. We've just scratched the surface of digital tampering. But I want to hear from you right now. Have you ever considered an ECU tune? Or do you know someone who has one? Do you think the penalties are too harsh or absolutely necessary to keep emissions in check? Drop your honest opinion in the comments below. This is a controversial topic, and I read every single comment. Item 14. Vanishing license plate. Systems. The felony on your bumper. This is gadgetry that appeals to the inner spy. Electronic license plate flippers, motorized covers that slide, or advanced e-ink panels that can go from a normal plate to black or a false number with an app command. The technology is cool. The legal reality is ice cold. Legally, this isn't treated as a clever mod. It's prosecuted under statutes related to obscuring a license plate, possession of a counterfeit plate, or defrauding the Department of Motor Vehicles. In states like New York and California, actively using such a device to conceal your plate is a Class E felony, punishable by years in prison. The moment you use it to run a toll, evade a red light camera, or avoid identification, you've graduated from traffic court to criminal court. Law enforcement training specifically includes identifying these systems. Officers are taught to look for unusual seams or gaps around the license plate frame, small motors, servo sounds, or wiring running into the trunk or bumper, the presence of a secondary, non-reflective surface behind the plate. During a routine stop for a broken taillight, an observant officer seeing a wire trailing from your plate will instantly escalate the encounter. You will be asked to step out of the vehicle. A probable cause search will follow. Your phone may be checked for the controlling app. The federal government, through agencies like the FBI and Homeland Security, classifies these devices as potential tools for criminal facilitation. Simply purchasing one from an online retailer can place you on an interdiction list, as these sales are sometimes monitored. They are favorites of organized crime rings for a reason. Installing one doesn't just risk a ticket, it paints a giant target on you for heightened law enforcement scrutiny every time you're on the road. It screams, "I have something to hide," and the system is designed to find out what that is. Item 13. Functional nitrous oxide systems. The probable cause bottle. The iconic blue bottle. The purging valve sound. In movies, it's the hero's instant boost. On the street, it's what prosecutors call an instrument of reckless endangerment and emissions fraud. Let's be unequivocal. No nitrous oxide system is certified by the Department of Transportation, DOT, or the EPA for on-road use. Every single one, from the brand name to the cheap eBay kit, is sold with the disclaimer "for competition use only" or "not legal for highway or street use." This isn't a suggestion. It's a legal shield for the manufacturer, transferring 100% of the liability to you. The law focuses on functionality and readiness. Having a disconnected, empty bottle in your trunk as a showpiece is often a legal gray area, though it will raise eyebrows. The moment that bottle is connected to solenoids and fuel lines, and especially when there is an armed switch within reach of the driver, you are in violation of multiple codes. 1. Motor Vehicle Safety Standards. The system is an unapproved alteration to the fuel and propulsion system. 2. Emissions laws. It drastically changes the air-fuel ratio and combustion, bypassing emissions controls. 3. Reckless driving statutes. The intent to use a power adder not designed for controlled street use can be construed as inherently reckless. Police training modules now include a segment called Identifying N2O Installations. Officers are taught to look for the bottle itself, often through rear windows, braided stainless lines running along the chassis, the distinctive purge solenoids and lines near the grille. The most damning piece, the arming switch, a brightly lit toggle or button labeled NOS or with a distinctive symbol, is considered prima facie, evidence of intent. The consequences are severe. In an accident, regardless of fault, the discovery of an armed nitrous system leads to an automatic insurance denial. In states like California, the bottle can be confiscated as evidence of intent to violate emissions laws, similar to how drug paraphernalia is treated. You're not just getting a ticket, you're having your property seized as evidence in your own criminal case. We're talking about serious criminal upgrades here. This is a good time to ask, where do you draw the line? Is having a disconnected nitrous bottle for show okay, or is any association with it a risk? And what about the "for off-road use only" label? Do you think buyers truly understand what it means? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective helps shape this conversation. Item 12. Rolling coal. From misdemeanor to aggravated assault. This is the poster child for how an illegal modification can escalate into life-altering felony charges. Rolling coal is the deliberate act of modifying a diesel engine, primarily by deleting the diesel particulate filter (DPF) and exhaust gas recirculation (EGR) system and applying extreme tuning. to produce massive, thick clouds of black soot from the exhaust. The environmental crime is staggering. EPA studies estimate a deleted diesel emits 310 times more nitrogen oxides, each NOx, 400 times more non-methane hydrocarbons, 120 times more carbon monoxide, compared to a stock-compliant vehicle. The federal crackdown is unprecedented. The EPA's National Enforcement Investigations Center leads undercover operations, infiltrating online forums, diesel truck meets, and performance shops. They execute search warrants, seize computers, and follow money trails. In recent years, multiple companies and individuals have pleaded guilty to conspiracy to violate the Clean Air Act, facing fines in the millions of dollars and multi-year prison sentences. But the legal danger transcends environmental law. The act of coal rolling is often directed at other people: cyclists, pedestrians, drivers of hybrid cars, or just someone who annoyed the truck driver. This is where it becomes a violent crime. The Texas case, 2021. A 16-year-old driver, attempting to coal a group of 6 bicyclists, lost control and plowed into them. The act of intentionally using the vehicle to produce a harmful cloud was a key factor in the subsequent felony assault charges. The modification was directly linked to the harm caused. Legal charges can now include assault with a deadly weapon, the vehicle, reckless endangerment, attempted battery due to the noxious fumes, and even terroristic threatening in some jurisdictions. Civil liability is a nightmare. If your soot cloud causes a driver behind you to panic, crash, or have an asthma attack, you are facing wrongful death or personal injury lawsuits where your intentional act of modification is the central piece of evidence. No insurance will cover this. Item 11. Flamethrower exhaust kits. The walking fire code violation. Installed almost exclusively for spectacle, these systems interrupt the ignition timing or inject raw fuel into the exhaust manifold to create controlled explosions that shoot flames from the tailpipe. On a closed racetrack with a fire crew standing by, it's a crowd pleaser. On a public street, it's arson waiting to happen. The legal classification is severe. Most municipal fire codes and state motor vehicle laws have broad prohibitions against vehicles equipped with devices that produce open flame or combustible discharge. Installing one is an instant violation. They are often treated not as a simple equipment violation, but as a hazardous material violation or possession of an incendiary device, which are criminal misdemeanors or felonies. The real-world risks are catastrophic and documented: gas station fires, vapor ignition from a lingering flame or spark, wildfires. In dry regions, a single flare can ignite roadside grass, leading to massive fires and charges of reckless burning, damage to property, melting the bumper of a car behind you at a stoplight, igniting debris on the road. Legally, if your flame kit starts a fire, you are 100% liable for all damages, suppression costs, and injuries. You will also face separate criminal charges for the fire itself, the shop that installed it. They likely have a waiver you signed, protecting them and leaving you holding the bag. It is, without question, one of the most legally irresponsible modifications possible. The line between car culture and criminality is getting thinner. We've covered digital crimes, fraud, and now literal fire. I'm curious about the culture around these extreme mods. Do you think social media pressure to have the craziest ride pushes people into illegal territory, or are these choices made in full isolation? Share your take below. The community's insight is valuable. Item 10. Ultra Dark Stealth Paints, Vantablack, Musu Black. The Invisible Hazard. The pursuit of the ultimate matte black has led to the adoption of industrial coatings like Vantablack, which absorbs up to 99.9965% of visible light. On a car, it creates a disorienting, shapeless void. While no state law explicitly says, "Thou shalt not use Vantablack," a web of other regulations ensnares it. The primary legal hook is Assured Clear Distance Ahead statutes and vehicle equipment safety laws. These laws require that your vehicle be equipped and maintained in a way that does not create an undue safety hazard. A car that is nearly invisible at dusk, dawn, or on an unlit road is the definition of a hazard. If you are rear-ended at night, the other driver's attorney will argue your paint job made you virtually unseen, shifting liability to you. Law enforcement can issue citations for defective equipment for not being sufficiently visible. Required reflectors may also be rendered useless. Reckless driving, for operating a vehicle you know presents a danger to others. Obstructed license plate, if the plate is also coated and loses reflectivity. The insurance consequence is absolute. In any accident occurring in low-light conditions, the insurer will conduct an investigation. The presence of a hyperabsorptive paint will be cited as a material increase of risk and a contributing factor, leading to claim denial or a massive increase in your premiums, if not outright policy cancellation. Item 9. Window tinting, the interstate legal trap. Tint laws are the most common violation because they are hyper-localized and a trap for travelers. The core legal principle is luminous transmittance, or VLT, visible light transmission. This is the percentage of visible light that passes through the film and glass combined. The minefield, front-side windows, driver and passenger. Most states require 35% to 70% VLT. California is 70%, a very light tint. Many southern states allow 35%. Going to 5%, limo tint, is illegal almost everywhere for these windows. Windshield. Typically, only the top 4 to 6 inches can be tinted. Any tint below the AS1 line, marked on most windshields, is illegal. Rear windows. Laws vary widely. Some states allow any darkness if you have 2 side mirrors. The enforcement is becoming scientific. Police use digital tint meters that are calibrated and hard to fool. The medical exemption is not a simple note from your doctor. It's a formal state-issued certificate, and the rules for obtaining one are strict. The real danger is interstate travel. Your 35% tint may be legal in your home state of Texas. Drive into neighboring Louisiana, which requires a 40% VLT minimum for front windows, and you are now in violation. This can lead to a ticket, and if you're stopped again in that state, it can lead to a fix-it order, requiring you to remove the tint on the spot, a costly and frustrating ordeal. In an accident at night, especially involving a pedestrian or cyclist, illegal tint will be used to argue you had impaired vision, potentially moving you from not at fault to shared fault, or even primarily at fault. We're halfway through and we've moved from federal crimes to everyday traps like window tint. Here's a practical question for you. Have you ever been pulled over for a mod you thought was legal? How did you handle it? Or, as an officer or someone in law, what's the most bizarre illegal mod you've ever seen? Sharing these stories creates a real-world guide for everyone. Comment below. Item 8. Miscolored auxiliary lighting, the impersonation hazard. The law governing vehicle lighting is specific, and its primary goal is instant recognition. Red, stop, rear. White, amber, front. Blue, red, emergency. Fog lights, driving lights, Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard, FMVSS. 108 mandates that any lamp facing forward on the front of a vehicle must emit either white or amber, selective yellow light. Period. Those blue, violet, red, or green LED pods or replacement bulbs are illegal. Using red or blue forward-facing lights can lead to a charge of impersonating a peace officer, a serious misdemeanor that can stay on your record. Headlights. The same rule applies. Aftermarket HID or LED kits that produce a bluish hue are illegal if they fall outside the specific white-amber color temperature range defined by law, often measured in kelvins. More importantly, placing an HID bulb or LED chip in a housing designed for halogen is illegal because the beam pattern is not controlled. You create blinding glare and hot spots that fail compliance. This is an improper lamp violation. Light bars and off-road lights. These can be mounted, but their use on public roads is almost always prohibited if they are uncovered and facing forward. They must be covered with an opaque, permanently attached cover when on the highway. Using them is akin to driving with your high beams on permanently, blinding oncoming traffic, and is a guaranteed ticket. Item 7. Extreme suspension alterations, the geometry of liability. Altering a vehicle's ride height changes its fundamental engineering, center of gravity, suspension geometry, headlight aim, bumper height, and crash compatibility. Lifted vehicles. States have maximum height laws, often tied to the factory bumper height or frame height. A common limit is a 4-inch increase from factory. Beyond that, you need certification. Additionally, all lighting must remain at legal heights. A common violation is headlights aimed into the sky, blinding others. Lifts also require longer brake lines, modified drive lines, and often void the manufacturer's warranty on the entire drivetrain due to increased angles and stress. Lowered vehicles. The legal limit is often how low you can go before the vehicle's undercarriage, frame, oil pan, exhaust contacts the road surface under normal operation. A car that scrapes or sparks is, by definition, unsafe and can be ticketed and even impounded for unsafe equipment. It can also damage public roads. Hydraulic, pneumatic suspensions. These are the most regulated. In virtually all states, it is illegal to change the ride height of the vehicle while it is in motion on a public road. Dancing or hopping is only legal for stationary shows. The switches must be inaccessible to the driver while driving. Violations are serious and draw immediate attention. The liability in an accident is profound. Any crash investigation will involve a measurement and inspection of your suspension. If it is deemed non-compliant, you will be found negligent per se. Negligent because you broke a safety law, making you automatically at fault for the accident, regardless of the other circumstances. Suspension mods are about physics and law colliding. It's a huge part of car culture, from lowriders to monster trucks. Where should the line be drawn for safety? Are current laws too restrictive or not restrictive enough? If you've modified your suspension, what was your experience with inspections or law enforcement? Your practical experiences are gold for the community. Let's discuss below. Item 6. Unregulated aftermarket lighting. Underglow, wheel well, interior. This is the Fast and Furious legacy, and the law has largely caught up. The governing principle: no light on a vehicle may be confused with a required safety light, brake, turn, headlight, or with emergency vehicle lighting. Underglow, neon LED strips. Color, red and blue, are universally prohibited anywhere on the exterior of a moving vehicle. Some states allow white or amber underglow, but only on the sides, not flashing. Many states ban all underglow on public roads except for show purposes while parked. Flashing, strobing, almost always illegal for any color, as it mimics emergency vehicles. Smartphone control. Changing colors while driving is a distracted driving violation on top of any lighting violation. Wheel well and interior lighting. If the light source or its glow is visible from outside the vehicle while in motion, it is generally illegal. This includes LED valve stem caps, footwell lights that bleed out the windows, or illuminated logos. The statute often used is unauthorized auxiliary lighting. The trend of RGB everything has created an enforcement headache. Officers now have to determine not just the color they see, but the color the system is capable of displaying. Many departments are responding with zero-tolerance policies for any non-factory, colored exterior lighting. Item 5. Radar detectors and laser jammers. The electronic countermeasure. War radar detectors. Legal in most states for passenger vehicles, but with critical exceptions. Completely illegal, Virginia, Washington, D.C. Illegal for all commercial vehicles, nationwide, under federal regulation. Windshield mounting restrictions. Even where legal, mounting on the windshield can be a separate, obstructed view ticket. Laser jammers, shifters. These are a different and more serious beast. They actively transmit infrared light to confuse police lidar, laser guns. Their legality is a patchwork. Illegal in California, Colorado, Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. Legal, with restrictions in some other states. The legal risk is high. In states where they are illegal, possession or use can be a misdemeanor. Furthermore, if you are caught using one, it is evidence of intent to speed systematically, which can lead to higher fines, a reckless driving charge, and a very unsympathetic hearing in front of a judge. Item 4. Exhaust noise noise violations, beyond the decibel. Most states and localities have decibel limits for vehicle exhaust, measured at a specific distance and RPM. However, the more powerful tool for law enforcement is the Modified Exhaust System statute. This law often states that a vehicle must be equipped with a working muffler in good working order to prevent excessive or unusual noise. The key term is unusual noise. This gives officers broad discretion. A modified exhaust that is louder than stock, has a different tone, raspy, pops, bangs, or produces crackles and burbles from an aggressive tune can be cited under this statute, even if a decibel meter isn't available. The pop and bang tunes, which inject fuel on overrun to create explosions in the exhaust, are increasingly targeted under noise ordinances and even reckless driving statutes due to the startling effect on other drivers. The trend is toward stricter enforcement due to community complaints about noise pollution. Multiple tickets can lead to vehicle impoundment and mandatory inspection to return to stock. We're getting into the mods that are about perception, lighting, sound, and countermeasures. This is where personal expression clashes with public peace and safety. What's your stance? Should cities have noise curfews? Are radar detectors a driver's right or a tool for breaking the law? And has the crackdown on exhaust noise gone too far or not far enough? I read every single opinion on this. Drop yours below. Item 3. Non-compliant tires and wheels. The contact patch with the law. Your tires are the only part of your car touching the road. The law takes them very seriously. Tires. DOT certification. Every tire for highway use sold in the U.S. must have a DOT code on the sidewall, proving it meets federal motor vehicle safety standards. Racing slicks, many track day tires, and some imported tires lack this. Driving on them is illegal. Tread depth. Most states require a minimum of 2 to 32 of an inch of tread. Bald tires are a ticket and a massive liability. Tire size. Significantly altering the overall diameter can affect speedometer accuracy, odometer fraud, and anti-lock brake system function, leading to citations. Wheels. Protrusion beyond fender. Many states have laws against wheels and tires that extend beyond the body line. This is to prevent thrown debris and reduce splash spray to other vehicles. Lug nut safety. Aftermarket wheels require the correct lug nuts to bolts. Failure to use them can lead to a wheel detachment, resulting in catastrophic liability. In an accident, the first thing investigators will check is tire condition and compliance. Non-DOT tires mean automatic fault and insurance denial. Item 2. Altered or obscured vehicle identification numbers. The cardinal sin. A vehicle's VIN is its legal fingerprint. It is stamped in multiple locations: dashboard, door jamb, engine block, frame. Tampering with any VIN is a federal felony under U.S. Code Title 18, Section 511. It is also a felony in every state. What constitutes tampering? Scratching, grinding, or restamping. Placing a false VIN plate over the real one, using fillers or paints to obscure it. Even a VIN repair after an accident must be documented and approved by the state DMV or police. The assumption is immediate and severe. A tampered VIN indicates a stolen vehicle, a re-VINed salvage car presented as clean, or a car assembled from stolen parts, a chop shop product. The legal process is not a traffic stop. It's a vehicle seizure and a criminal investigation. You will lose the car, and you will need a team of lawyers. Item 1. Disabled or removed safety equipment. The ultimate liability. This is the most dangerous and legally indefensible act. Safety systems are federally mandated. Airbags, removing them or installing a resistor to fool the system into thinking they are present, airbag simulators, is a federal crime. In a crash, it becomes criminal negligence or manslaughter if someone dies. Seat belts, removing or modifying them is illegal. Bumpers, removing factory bumper systems to save weight or for aesthetics often violates crash safety standards. The legal and civil consequences are absolute. In any accident, the discovery of disabled safety equipment makes you automatically and completely liable for all injuries and deaths, regardless of who caused the crash. Insurance is void. You will face personal injury lawsuits that will bankrupt you and likely criminal charges. There is no debate, no justification, and no sympathy from the legal system on this point. This isn't about crushing car culture. It's about understanding that the public road is a governed space, a shared ecosystem with rules born from tragedy, fraud, and environmental necessity. Every modification is a choice that carries weight. That weight can be the joy of personal expression done right, or it can be the crushing burden of legal consequences that can ruin your life. Do your research, not on forums, but in your actual state vehicle code and the federal regulations. Call your insurance company and ask, in writing, if a mod will affect your coverage. The few minutes it takes could save you everything. This was a deep dive into the legal abyss that mods can create. Which one shocked you the most? Is there a mod you've removed from your car after watching this, or one you'll never consider? Your stories and decisions help others make smarter choices. Let's build a smarter, legal car culture together. Share this video with someone who needs to see it, and subscribe for more no-nonsense takes on the reality of owning and modifying cars. See you in the next one.